Hey guys, welcome back. So in the last video, we've seen my rand black hand list right here. But in this video, I thought we should watch my horde list, right? So I'm playing a list using Grommash, and this is my best horde list. And why did I want to do a horde list is because of the whole dungeon system. So if you guys are not familiar with the dungeon system, let me explain. And thanks to the guys in the comment that explained it to me. But yeah, basically dungeons are really important because they allow you to upgrade your army, right? So last week it was for Black Rock heroes, right? So we can see here I did it a little bit after the last video. I upgraded my Black Rock slots in my army. You can see the silver border here, which indicates that my leader, for example, here has +2 level, right? We can see here that it's for a Black Rock unit that has +2 level and etc. For bronze, it's +1. So I'm guessing there's probably gold afterwards. But yeah, but this week it's for horde armies, right? Or horde troops. So what does that mean? Is that for every horde leader, you're going to be able to play them in a dungeon, which ramps up every time as you play it. And it's so the dungeon is going to get a level, and you yourself are also going to get a level to compensate, right? So if you clear it like, I don't know, like 5 times, you're going to get like 5 upgrades. And this is exactly what I did with my Grommash list here. So for example, my leader has +2. My goblin sapper here has +2. Here I have my execute that has +1. Here squad, but we don't have any squad units in my list. And then my flying unit, etc. Right? So what's the plan in this video? The plan is I'm going to explain the list. So hopefully you guys can understand how to play it, the interactions between it. And then I'm going to play some PvP because this is my PvP horde list, right? I'm going to play a few games, comment on the different matchups and stuff. And afterwards, we're going to go through a whole dungeon run and explain what does those 3 enemies do, how to defeat those 3 bosses, and hopefully help you guys understand how to play the list, but also how to upgrade your army, right, by completing this dungeon over and over again. But yeah, guys, this game, once again, is just super crazy. It's super fun. I'm going to create a lot more videos about it, so please make sure to subscribe and like. It helps me out a lot. This is the very start of the channel, and the hardest part is getting that initial traction to start the channel. But yeah, if you guys love the game as much as I do, please consider subscribing. It will mean really a lot to me. But yeah, let's get into it. I already told you guys the plan of the video, and let's get to it. So let's go with my Grommash leader, right? So what does Grommash do? It's a 4 cost, which does give, I think, Bloodlust it's called. All from nearby friendly units gain Bloodlust. So you can see here in the video that units are red, which means they move faster and have higher attack speed. Okay, so yeah, this is really good. But yeah, for this leader, you're probably going to have a talent, right? If it's the first leader you picked, you're probably going to have a talent. And I suggest going for the Bladestorm talent, right? Because Bladestorm gives an AoE blade spin ability that damages all nearby enemy. So basically it gives an AoE to Grommash. And this is really important because normally Grommash is, we can see here, 1 target unit, and in our list we don't have any splash damage. So the biggest counter to our list is all of those like swarm armies with a lot of skeletons and stuff like that. They're going to be a big issue to our list because the only other AoE units we have is here our Huntress, right, which doesn't have that much AoE. It has like a splash of what, I think 2 extra units. So yeah, if you're playing Grommash, take the Bladestorm talent here. This would help a lot, but even without, the deck is still really good. I don't have it. It's not the leader I picked first, but I'm working on it. I can't wait to get it. But yeah, so Bladestorm, big Bladestorm. Mirror image is just bad because those two mirror images gets destroyed. And Savage Strikes could be good, but I just think having AoE is just better because of the matchup that counters our Grommash here. So here's our leader. What's next, right? So we have here our Goblin Sapper, right? So Goblin Sapper here, you can see in the little short video, can destroy a tower by themselves. So what they do, they don't attack any other unit. They just charge forward for a tower, but they are really weak. Okay, so you can use them to just get a tower for free if your opponent is out of gold. So this is really important in this list to make sure, like, try to count. Okay, you know your opponent has 10 gold and you know how much units cost, right? So it's a little bit harder in this game compared to like Clash Royale. But yeah, if you see that your opponent is dropping Abomination, that's 6, right? So Abomination, then like he's dropping like a Huntress behind, let's say, right? So that would be like 11 gold. So by the time he dropped the Huntress, he got like a single extra gold. You know he has 0. You know he has 0. You drop the Goblin Sapper in another lane. It's gonna charge, and you're gonna get a free. You're gonna get a free tower, right? But then you're gonna be like, oh, okay, well, how are we gonna deal with that big push? Well, that's why we have Execute, right? So Execute is here. What does Execute do? Execute deals 50% damage to all of the units, so 50% of their max health. So for example, Abomination or all those big tanks, which could be an issue for us, well, Execute is really good to just slash their health in half, which is so really, really good in defense against those humongous push, right? So one last thing of the Goblin Sapper is that it's also really good in this list, especially good in this list because it's good with Bloodlust, right? So remember that Grommash gives movement speed to all our troops that are around it. So our Goblin Sapper, the fact that they're going to move even quicker, it's going to be much harder for our opponent to react, right? Because they're just going to charge super quickly. And if he doesn't have just a little bit of gold or something to answer, he's going to lose a tower just for basically 2 gold on our side. Yeah, so here's the Execute. I've talked about the Execute. Execute is also really good to just destroy towers. So sometimes a single Goblin Sapper is going to jump, so you're not going to have enough to destroy the tower. Then you can like Execute, right? Or sometimes just like when your opponent destroys one of your tower, you can just execute it back to your side, right? So Execute has just so much value. We're going to see all that in the gameplay. Also in PvE, or not even PvE, only in PvP and PvE, but also in PvP, you could use the Execute to smash your opponent's base, right? So you can just, when you go in overtime and you know we're going to end with time, just try to cycle your execute your opponent's base, and a lot of the times you're going to have more than your opponents in overtime, right? You're going to have more damage in overtime, so you should win the game just because of execute, which is really good. Yeah, do I have anything else to add for execute? I don't think so. Maybe I'll add more in the gameplay, so make sure to watch the gameplay. Yeah, so here I added the Ghoul, okay? The Ghoul is basically our only real tank in this list, right? So we have our Grommash Hellscream, which is a tank, but our best tank here is the Ghoul, right? So we want to use the Ghoul. Ghoul is super cheap, only 2 gold, has a lot of health. So we don't have any humongous tank in this list. We're going for like medium sizes pushes with this list and pushing in different lanes, doing some gimmicky stuff to destroy our opponent. But yeah, so Ghoul is really good because you could pair it with our Huntress, and you could pair it with our Shaman, which has some healing abilities, right? So this use it as your main tank. But yeah, really, really good. You're gonna see in the gameplay, you play that with the rest. And with the healing from the Shaman, it's going to be a lot. And it's going to survive so much because the Ghoul also, if you guys are not familiar with the Ghoul, so it's a 2-cost tank, right? But once it kills an enemy, we can see here, it kills an enemy, but then gains back its health by eating, right? So we're not using the Ghoul as a damage dealer. We just want to we want the Ghoul in front of the army, just soaking as much damage as possible for as long as possible. And during that time, our Huntress is there to deal a lot of damage. And also, like, your Huntress is going to kill enemies, which is going to give more bodies to your Ghoul. And then your Ghoul is going to feed on those bodies, which is going to heal back. And then the Shaman is probably there, healing your Huntress, healing the Ghoul. Yeah, it could get really, really crazy, especially in those overtime minute. We do have a Griffin Rider here, and the Griffin Rider is really important because it has some really good single target damage, and it's also really good for a lot of units which are really good against our deck. For example, I mentioned earlier Abomination, right? So we execute the Abomination to deal a lot of damage, but having a Griffin Rider for 2 to just apply constant damage on anything like that is really freaking good, okay? One of the big units that's good against our list is the Gargoyle, right? Because the Gargoyle has some armored. The Gargoyle is armored, which means takes less damage from physical damage, right? And here The Griffin Rider, I'm not sure if it's written, but it does physical damage. It doesn't do elemental damage. But still, it will be enough combined with Execute to destroy a Gargoyle. So try to play your Execute on the Gargoyle and something else so you get a little bit more value with your 3-cost spell. And then the Griffin Rider to finish it off. Okay, so Gargoyle, probably the best unit against our list. We have the Huntress here that can attack the Gargoyle, but once again, it's... the Gargoyle is armored, so it won't do very much. But yeah, so next up we have the Frostwolf Shaman, right? I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm sorry, I'm francophone, so sometimes Shaman, whatever. The Frostwolf is really good. It's probably my favorite unit right now. So what does it do, right? It's a 4-cost that does some ranged single target damage. But what's crazy that is it also heals, and the healing is like a chain lightning type healing, so it would like chain between units. So if your Frostwolf takes some damage but heals a nearby ally, it's also going to heal itself, which is really good, especially when you can have like one next to each other, because the two Frostwolf are going to heal each other, which is just nutty, right? So if you can get a push with 2 Frostwolf Shaman, it's almost impossible to clear it. We're going to see that in the gameplay. That's the thing I love the most doing. All right, next up. Sorry about that. All right, next up we have the Huntress, right? So the Huntress is our biggest damage dealer. It's a 5-cost that we are going to play with our Ghoul and with our Frostwolf, right? So this push by itself is so hard to deal with because there's so much healing involved, so much splash damage involved that there's really isn't that much that many units that can destroy this whole push. Aerial units are going to get destroyed by the Huntress. Tanks that are going to be placed in front of towers are going to be able to deal with it, but the Huntress is going to have some splash damage, and then you're going to do so much damage on turrets by the time you clear that tank that it's still going to be worth it, even if your opponent takes down the whole push. So yeah, for talents, I don't think I'm going to get into it. Talents for each of these troops. I mentioned it for our Grommash, our leader. But yeah, I think I'll get into another video, maybe explaining the best first talent for every single troop or something like that. Yeah. Also, what's really good about this whole idea is that here we have our Shaman, right? Our Shaman works really, really well with our leader here because, like I said, it has a Bloodlust ability for all our friendly nearby units, right? So when you play our Grommash, it gives plus 33% attack speed to all our nearby units. And for the Shaman, this also means it buffs the healing ability, right? So it's going to heal faster, which means it's going to be much harder for your opponent to deal with our push. All right, all right. So I think this is it. We'll get into some PvP gameplay. I'll switch over and I'll see you guys there. All right, so since the last video, I haven't played a lot of PvP because I've been working on dungeons a lot. So I'm still in the Silver Strategist 2 level, but hopefully we can climb right here. So let's get into it. So I thought my troops were pretty low level compared to my opponents at that point. So yeah, I worked on dungeons. I now understand how important are dungeons. But yeah, this game has so much freaking content that PvP really isn't all of it. You have PvP, you have PvE, you have dungeon, then you have heroic missions, you have quests. There's like literally unlimited things to do. Okay, so we're playing against a Rend list. Let's see what we can do here. So here, what I like to do is play my Ghoul. So our opponent is creating a push here, which is dangerous for us. We are going to wait for the Rend to die before playing our Griffin Rider. Okay, now we play our Griffin Rider, and I'm going to play my Grommash here. It didn't go through. So I played... okay, my Shaman seems to still be alive. There goes a Drake from our opponents. Our Huntress might be able to clear that Drake. And here we go. Our push is already going through, applying good damage here. We are not even going to play anything else. We're going to play our Shaman, perhaps. No, we're going to wait. We're doing good here. Our opponent is attacking left, seems to giving up on the right. So I'm going to play my Griffin Rider here to further support my Miner. We're going to lose to the Harpies middle, unfortunately. Perhaps our Shaman should be enough to clear those Harpies with the Griffin Rider. All right, we are in a great position. So I'm going to start a heavy push here on the left with a Grommash. So I played it further back so that we can start a bigger push, right? So if I play all in front, it's hard for me to add units. But here, I'm going to play my Ghoul. And I'm going to play my Huntress. So my Sham... Okay, I'm going to execute here the Gargoyle, like I showed you guys, like I explained you guys earlier. And here we are going to have to support our right turret, but we are still in a good position. The Huntress doesn't want to attack the Drake, but that's fine. Hopefully the Shaman here doesn't... It does aggro, but it doesn't, unfortunately. So we can't really play our Miner as of yet, but our opponent really can't either. So I'm going to play my Ghoul so that the Rend attacks the Ghoul instead of attacking the tower. You see how the Ghoul gets a lot of value here. Okay, so here I know that I wanted the main tower to attack the Ghoul, but the Ghoul was occupied eating, so that was a misplay here. I'm going to play my Huntress behind the Ghoul. I am being attacked here. I'm going to defend with a Grommash, which is going to allow us to do a counterplay. So we lost the top left turret, but this is fine because with the execute, we're going to have enough to finish here game 1 against Rand Blackhand list. Awesome. Let's get it going. So, yeah, I think it went really perfectly here. I misplayed the thing with our Goblin Sapper. We want to use them on the main tower once our Ghoul has been aggroed by the main turret, because the main turret has an extra, a bigger circle, a bigger splash damage circle than the side turret. So it's harder for the Goblin Sapper to reach. Okay, so here, this is our worst matchup because I don't have the AoE talent that I mentioned earlier, but we'll try to make it work nonetheless. We're going to play a Shaman here, and we're going to play our Ghoul. Our Ghoul does get aggroed. You can see the Shaman here is healing both units. Will it be enough? I'm going to execute now to try to salvage this tower. A rough start here. We're going to play our Grommash here to get that gold, and then hopefully save our left turret. So the left turret does go down. I'm going to play a Huntress here to try to apply against some pressure. So Huntress here is going to be the MVP probably in this matchup if we can get something going because of that splash damage, right? She is our biggest splash damage unit. So we are going to need to cycle back to her as quickly as possible. Please don't kill the Miner. So the Miner is safe. This is great. Oh, here I didn't see the undeads or the skeletons, unfortunately. Gonna play my Grommash. There goes the Harpy. We don't have a Chain Lightning here, so I'm gonna send another Huntress. Let's go, Huntress. You need to get some value from me here. So the right lane seems to be doing fine right now. The Huntress is getting more value. Unfortunately, we can't add any more units since our turret is being reconstructed. Okay, we're going to go for a push with the Goblin Sappers here. Here we are going to send a Shaman and a Griffin Rider try to defend. I wanted to send the Goblin Sappers right, but I forgot to change lanes. But this is fine. We got the top left turret, actually, without even me noticing. I think he spent too much. Okay, I'm going to try to play my Garrosh here to give Bloodlust to my Goblin Sapper, which are going to connect. One of them does connect. We have a lot going on here. We're going to play my Huntress. The Shaman is here is going to heal my Grommash, so there's nothing he can do. We're going to finish with an execute, and we are good to go here with a second game. All right, let's get it. So this is actually our worst matchup, and you see how we still managed to win with our Huntress, but be careful. She's really valuable in this matchup. But yeah, let's keep it going. Can we see something else? Maybe a beast leader, or maybe just a leader we haven't seen would be the best for me to explain all the different matchups for you guys. And then afterwards, after this third game, we'll jump into some PvE here. All right, we are against the Sneed. And he is playing Meat Wagon, which is really interesting because Meat Wagons don't even outrange these turrets here. So he's playing very aggressive, so we are going to use our execute early here. The Meat Wagon is not going to get any good value. We are actually going to play... I thought he was going to play right, so here we are going to lose Goblin Sappers. The heal wasn't enough. We are going to play our Griffin Rider. And there you go. This is enough to defend here. I'm going to play a Shaman here to hope. I was planning to heal my own Shaman here, but it wasn't enough. That was probably a misplay. We're still going to move. We're going to wait to gather. Okay, so he's attacking the right lane through the middle. Here we can execute this turret. But the Meat Wagon is going to be an issue here. So this is 3 big units on the right. So we are going to keep our Huntress for the right. We're going to play the Grommash to tank a little bit, which is not great. But we get a good defense going here. The Meat Wagon will do some damage. It is going to kill my Huntress. However, I think our opponent is wasting a lot of units here. I think we are going to go here to the left because we're going to want to start to get that extra gold. So our opponent plays the Spear Troll, but doesn't push it middle, which is great for us. We're going to send some Goblin Sapper to the right turret because he has a lot of his plate on the left side. Come on, Goblin Sappers connects. We get the turret. We're going to send an extra Huntress in case he tries to defend here. She might be completely wasted, but at least she gets refunded 2 gold by getting that chest and applies some damage here. I'm going to play... Okay, we are going to wait here. Okay, so we're just going to push here on the right side. We are not going to play our Griffin. Okay, so the Meat Wagon goes middle. We are going to play our Shaman here. Okay, so the Shaman is going to heal the Ghoul, and now there's a lot of pressure here. So we are going to play the Goblin Sapper because our opponent can't really deal with our push on the right. So we get 1 hit. We're going to wait a little bit. We're going to hit it here. And we're going to try to send a Griffin Rider here to kill the Meat Wagon. Unfortunately, he's going to take back the turret. But we are going to send a Miner here in the middle lane to get more gold. We're going to probably take back the top left turret. And we are, once again, in a great position here against our opponent. We're going to play our Ghoul. Hopefully, I played the Ghoul a little bit late. I should have played it a little bit earlier if I wanted to connect with the Ghoul. Here, the Shaman is a lot. The Huntress is going to splash on both of them, which is fantastic here. The Grommash is hitting our enemy's base. We are in overtime, so this means we have double gold. Here I'm going to play the Goblin Sapper. I don't know if they're going to connect from here. No, they don't, unfortunately, so this was a misplay. The Meat Wagon is here. So we're going to have to push some extra. So we do have an advantage here So if we do reach the end of the game, we should have an advantage with health if our opponent doesn't slaughter us with a great push, right? So we might need to play defense here. However, I don't think it's enough. I see a Sneed, Drake, and now the overtime damage procs, and we are gonna win this third game against a Sneed. All right. So I hope those PvP games were enough to show you guys how this game, how to play this deck in PvP. Tell me, guys, if you guys want to see more PvP, less PvP, maybe shorter deck explanation and stuff. Tell me what you want to see on this channel, any other content. I have a lot of ideas in the chamber. Yeah, so right now we're going to jump into dungeon. And yeah, let's get into it. So I already cleared the dungeon a couple of times. So right now I'm going to be against some level 9 troops. But luckily our units are a little bit over level 9, I believe, because of the buff we gave them. All right, so let's get into it. So when we start a dungeon, okay, we're going to have to choose between 3 different augments. How can we call them? I would say augments. So let's read them. First one, Aegis of Battle. Horde units near your leader will occasionally deal double damage. This is really good because we have a lot of push with our Horde leader, right? So our Horde leader, Grommash, gives extra attack speed. So if it gives extra attack speed, it means our units are going to attack more, quicker, which means this might proc even more. So this should be especially good with our lists. We have Unstable Concoction. On death, your mini explode, dealing damage to nearby enemies and poisoning them. For me, I didn't enjoy it that much because I'm trying to hold all my units alive as much as possible so it doesn't trigger much. And if it triggers, if a unit dies, most of the times they're all going to die at the same time. So I don't think this is too good with this list. And next up, we have Gauntlet of Determination. Your leader gain +1 level each time they are deployed. So this could be good. But we don't have that much cycle in our list, so I think I'm going to go for Aegis of Battle here. And yeah, we'll get into it. So here, we're against the Crowd Pummeler 960. All right, so how it works in Dungeon, if we win once, we have 1 try that we can lose on the next battle. And then if we lose on the next battle a second time, then we're out. But we'll see that after this game, if we can clear it on the first try. So all right. So against this boss, so this boss actually has some like knock away ability, which is quite unique actually. You can see you want to dodge this big circle because if you get hit by this big circle, your units might get one shot if they are thrown out of the map. So here we are going to steal the chest. I believe, did we get the gold? You're going to see here, okay, we are not going to get hit. And here we are going to defend a little bit. And we're already applying a lot of damage, but you can see that this unit applies some splash damage, which is, or a knockback damage, right? You can see it completely killed our unit. So yeah, we're going to have to defend here a little bit before going for a counter push. We're going to play our Execute because there's so much unit, and our Huntress because our Huntress is our biggest AoE unit in our list. So this is our good push from the opponent. We are going to heal our Huntress. We just did barely, which is great. You can see here, this is a buff which allows us to be immune to the knockback effect of the boss. So we can see here, I took it. If it hits, we should be safe. So our leader does apply, his leader does not apply his knockback effect, is what I meant to say. Here we're going to play our Grommash here on the left because we're going to need to defend. But Grommash is not going to be enough, so we're going to give it a little Griffin Rider here and a Ghoul on the right to defend against that Wolf. Our Griffin has the Bloodlust ability because of our Grommash. And then here we have a good push with our Huntress. Since the AoE circle just passed, we should be good here for a little bit. I'm going to play my Shaman here because we have another AoE push to deal with. But I'm going to send my Miner here to the middle, my Miner here to the middle to take that chest. and hopefully take that obelisk. We are gonna play our execute. We didn't hit the wolf, unfortunately. Our shaman and our huntress are putting some work in, and now we have our miner working. We have a Grommash going middle. We have a Griffin Rider middle. Our shaman does dodge the ability. I'm gonna wait a little bit. Okay, so the huntress should be safe here if we play it. And then we're gonna play Ghoul on the right. Unfortunately, there's wolves that I didn't see, so that was probably a mistake. But if I put a shaman behind it, perhaps I'm gonna be able to kill those whelps. And we are gonna get the first round here of the dungeon. So go for the buff. This will allow you to do some good push and be safe from that knockback effect. And yeah, play defense. Try to go for the obelisk in the middle, I would say. But just be aware of the circle, where it goes, and try to dodge it. That's also another way you can do all of that. Next up, we have the best talent out there, which is the really big candle. But we'll read the other two. Feathered Shroud, your flying minis gain stealth. So here we can see we only have the Griffin Rider, so this isn't too good. And we have the Gnomish Flywheel. Playing a cycle mini reduces the cost of your next non-cycle mini by 1, but never less than 1. Does not stack. So this could be good because we have 3, but this one is just crazy, okay? Really big candle gives your kobold plus 25 levels, which means our miner is going to be like level like 36 or something. Which is just crazy because our miner becomes like a tank. And if you combine it with some other talent which gives like life steal to that miner, it just becomes crazy. You're going to see how powerful this talent is, right? So if you see the really big candle, always pick that talent, okay? All right. So here, what's special about this level is that you can see the little fog or whatnot. This is poison, I believe. So we're going to try to not stick there too long. We're going to execute. This is a good execute value here. And yeah, our Grommash is already going to perish. We're going to play a Griffin Rider here because he doesn't have any aerial damage. The Gnoll Brute is not going to be an issue with the Griffin Rider. And look at that. Look at that. We're going to drop the miner here. Level 36 miner. It gets attacked. It one-shot his miner. We're going to play a Grommash here. Look at the damage. Look at the damage of this level 36 miner. So the miner by itself took a tower, which is insane. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. So here, this is not enough to do a push. But we took a tower, which is a lot because this tower actually attacks the middle lane. So that's why I'm aiming for one of the side towers first. But yeah, let's keep it going. Here we're going to put a Huntress, which is going to take some poison damage from the map. But we're going to send a miner here on the right to, by itself, take the right turret. I'm going to add a little Griffin here to add a little bit of extra defense. And we can see here the value of our miner. There's some whelps here, so we are going to play our shaman to hopefully take them down. I'm going to play my ghoul here. I don't want to lose both of my towers that I've worked so much for to get by playing a single miner. I'm going to execute to take back the turret and also force the pyromancer to attack the turret. And there we go. Here we are going to play our huntress. We are going to need to apply some splash damage. The miner here perhaps. So the miner has some good value here. So we are good here on the left. On the right, the turret is not going to complete. So we are having some issue applying damage to our opponent because we're always playing defense. So we'll start to create a push here, probably on the right. So Grommash first. We'll still react to what our opponent does. We're immediately going to execute. We did it a little bit too early, but we are going to play a shaman here. I'm going to play my miner. Hopefully it's enough to defend. Probably not. So much misplays here on my end. But the miner is still enough to defend. That's how crazy that miner is. And now we are going to try to play our Goblin Sapper. Hopefully, if the enemy boss is aggroing something else, the miner is going to connect. It did, by the way. But not the second one. So here the Huntress is getting more value. So we are not going to do anything else because we're going to plan a bigger push. We didn't mine any gold this game, which is an issue. This is the issue of playing the really big candle. So here we are going to play the miner. The miner's going to, first of all, get us some gold and then go for a big push. But it's overtime, so we have double the gold. We do not get any benefit from going to a draw, so we are going to cycle an execute here. We're going to play Huntress. We're playing defense, and we're trying to aim for another execute. So we're going to play all of our... No, we don't even need to. And we beat the second boss here. So this one, a little bit harder. Aim for the side turrets, right? If you have the really big candle, it's much easier with the miner. I think my mistake here was probably I didn't mine enough gold. So I suggest you guys to maybe aim for that gold. Those gold mines. And yeah. Let's go for the third round, which is the hardest one. Okay, this is the best to play with, but we'll see that in a moment. Summoning Stone. After playing a spell, your next mini costs one less, but we only have one spell, so I'm not going to take this one. Leeching Poison. Your single target minis, melee minis gains life steal. So this is great because we have Grommash that gets a buff. We have the Ghoul, but we also have the Miner, the broken miner, which can 1v1 any unit, any melee unit in this game, which is insane. So we're going to take that, but we're going to see the last one. Bloodshot Greaves. Whenever you have 3 or less active minis on the field, they gain Bloodlust. So this is also really, really good. It's just really good because it just always gets some value in every single game. But yeah, we're going to take Leeching Poison because of our build, but also because of our last talent we pick, or our last augment we pick. So there goes Leeching Poison, and this should be the last boss. So this is the hardest one. It's really tricky. The first time you do it, it seems really weird, but I'll explain. Okay, so against this boss, okay, you can't really do damage to the boss directly with your units, but what's going to happen is that you can see here there's some tiles, and on those tiles they're going to spawn some how can you call it, like shields, bubble shields. We're going to see like bubble shields appear, and when you destroy them, it's going to spawn a bomb in the middle, which is going to attack your opponent. But if he takes any of these bubble shields, well, the bomb is going to attack your base, right? So try to control both lanes at the same time. But once your unit goes to the other side, like the unit just immediately dies, right? So don't overcommit in a single lane. You don't need to have the biggest push. But yeah, here we're going to play the miner because the miner by itself is going to kill that giant. But we want to secure... Can we secure the first battery or bubble shield? I don't know. We're going to play our Garrosh here, or Grommash, excuse me, on the right. So our miner wasn't aggroed, unfortunately. And we are struggling here on the left. We're going to play our Griffin Rider. And we're going to play our miner. Look at how much value the miner is getting. He's getting hit, but it's immediately getting his health back up. But here we are going to get those. So here we got a bomb. You're going to see here a bomb attacking, but our opponent also did the same against us. So, yeah. Luckily, we are doing a better job than our opponent. So we should be able... Okay, this was a bad spawn, bad spawn for us because it was on our opponent's side. Yeah. I am going to execute. There's just a lot of units here. Okay, I'm going to send my leader left just to have a lead on our opponent here if he plays on the left. Here, we're going to do the same. We're going to see, look how our leader just immediately destroyed. So it's not worth it to do some huge pushes. Try to spread your units. We're applying more damage than our opponent. I'm sending the ghoul to go for that bomb on the left. We're actually doing fantastic here. Here our shaman is gonna take one bomb. Is it gonna take the second one? It should. We have control on the left. And here we are gonna lose that one. We are gonna play, I think, a defensive Grommash here because our opponent is sending a lot of units on our side, but we are gonna send a tanky miner here to defend. The Huntress is gonna get the first one. It doesn't aggro the second one. I'm gonna send my shaman here to heal the leader. The miner has blood loss because of the leader, which is insane. And yeah, here we are good to go. The last bomb goes, it connects. And there goes the end of this dungeon run. So this was a dungeon run level 9. It's gonna get harder than that. But yeah, let's see what we can upgrade on our army here. So we are going to claim reward here. So here we can upgrade our squad mini here to a silver, but we already have, we don't even have any squad minis in our list. So perhaps we should go for, let's check. We could get a spell or a horde, right? Do we have another spell or another horde? We have another horde unit, which is the shaman, which is really good. So I think that's what we're going to go for right here. So horde, you're gonna see an upgrade here. It adds it here. Okay, so it moved for some reason, but that's fine. And then we finish this dungeon, and now it's gonna reset, right? So that's the same dungeon, but this time we could do it with another leader. So please subscribe to this video if you could, and tell me what you guys want to see on this channel. If you guys want me to do, if you guys want me to do maybe another dungeon run with another horde leader with like our cairn here, tell me. I would like to do it. But yeah, I have so many ideas for you guys. I'm gonna tell you a few of them. Please tell me what you would like to see. I'm thinking maybe doing just some tips, just a tip videos on how to play, some ideas and stuff to make you better. Game explanation. So how does the game work? That's another idea I have. And also leader tier list. I really want to do that. So I want to try all the different leaders and do a leader tier list because you get some leader that you can select, some leader selection. I think this would help a lot. And finally, maybe some talents, best first talent for maybe all units of a single faction. And I could do videos for every single faction, right? And here, just by the way, here's where you can see the different Horde week, right? So here's Horde week. Next week is going to be Undead. We can see here in the middle of the screen. And yeah, we're just going to see the upgrade here on our list. We have here our shaman that has extra level here, which is freaking fantastic. But anyway, this was it for me, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, please subscribe. I'm gonna make a lot more content on it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.